Has this ever happened to you? It's summer. You plan all your holiday gifts, but you don't actually get around to working on them until December. Then, just lo and behold, you are last minute crafting and gifting. Hello! How are you guys doing? I hope that you're doing very well. It's been a minute since I last recorded a podcast for you guys. Yeah. But I have been uploading several videos to the channel that I hope you are enjoying. I know that things can always get a little hectic around the holidays, so I hope that you've still found some time to unwind and relax. But I also know that some people won't be able to spend their holidays with their friends, loved ones, or their family. So in that case, I hope that my podcast can be just a little bit of holiday cheer for you. So yeah, thank you for joining me today and deciding to spend your crafty or whatever time you are taking to watch this episode with me. Thank you for that, and just join me for some last minute crafting. Now, tell me if I'm wrong, but as makers, this tends to happen to us a lot, right? That we just plan ahead and then we find ourselves 2 weeks from Christmas and only one finished item, or maybe no finished items. It's the pressure, we put on ourselves during this season. Well, a couple of weeks ago, I did an Insta poll where I asked how many of you had actually finished your Christmas either shopping or gifting or anything like that, and 30% of you were way ahead of the curve. Like 30% of you said, yes, I'm all done. Way more organized than the rest of the 70%, including myself, which did not at that time have a finished item. And really, at this point, it's not last minute gifting. It's just never gonna happen. It's gonna be happening maybe around 2022, which, oh my God. 2022. Can you guys even process that? Because I can't process that we're already at the end of 2021. I mean, I'm gonna pause right here for this little meme of joy because I feel that describes my year perfectly, and maybe it does yours too. Now, I'm not saying it's all been bad. There's been some great moments, there's been some hectic moments, but the headless running around has been 2021. Yes, been running around headless in abundance, Yes, I totally repeated myself, but hey, eloquence has never been my forte. Putting those headless running moments aside, the projects that I'm going to be sharing with you today, or not sharing with you today, have all kind of been last minute crafting. One of them was asked for or requested, and one of them was offered. Neither of them are making it to 2021 Christmas. It's really not gonna happen. But don't fear, it's not all just sad and depressing news in this last minute crafting venture, because I did manage to finish one item, but I don't have it here with me for obvious reasons. It's already been sent on its way and hopefully made it to its destination, because I never received a text confirming that it was there, and I think I misplaced the tracking number, so I can't check it was there. But we are crossing all fingers, toes, paws, everything that it made it to its destination, because I know that the US postal system has been overwhelmed, overrun, outgunned, outmanned, outnumbered, outplanned. See, I didn't sing it. In my head, I sang it, but when I'm talking to you, I didn't sing it because I promised I wouldn't sing on this podcast again. Okay, so let's start with the little ray of sunshine that is the finished item. Pictures here, please, because as I said, I don't have it. And these are my brother's socks. So 4 years ago, when I first learned to knit socks, I gifted him a pair of socks for Christmas. They were DK weight socks, and he never used them. He confessed later to Mom, not to me, that he hadn't used them because I had made one of them too small and too short on his foot. So he used them as mitts to warm his hands when he had to mow the lawn. since Mom told me that, I said, well, I am going to trace his foot and I'm going to make him a pair of socks. And I did. Hopefully these fit because I followed his foot measurements. So crossing again, all fingers, toes, and paws. And these are made with Oregia self-patterning yarn. I have no idea what I did with the ball band. Knit on 2.25 millimeter needles, magic loop, and getting into the rhythm of just knitting a toe and then knitting a tube and then cutting a heel for an afterthought heel and doing a crochet heel. I actually didn't try these socks on, which probably should have so you could see the fit of the crochet heel, but I don't know. Something about not having to knit a heel soothes my soul, and I do not feel as intimidated by socks. And I don't think it's even intimidated, it's the fact that I am a slow knitter and having to knit a heel flap and gusset, which honestly is my preferred way of doing it. It just takes too long. And I also like the fish lips kiss heel, but I feel that it's a little bit too thin for the heel constantly rubbing against a foot. So I like crocheting a heel, and I feel it offers extra reinforcement because crochet stitches are a lot thicker than knit stitches. So we will see how long these socks last, but first we will see if they fit, which I certainly will text them Christmas Day and be like, hey, did the socks fit? Did the socks fit? What else can I tell you about these socks? Did I tell you that I bought the yarn at EYF 2018 and I just knit 64 stitches because I have a pretty loose gauge when it comes to sock knitting. And yeah, that's 2x2 cuff because I just automatically roll that way. It's automatic, honestly. Doing a 2x2 cuff, it's ingrained into my being, I think. And sometimes I try to knit a 1x1 and then I end up with a moss stitch because I forget I'm knitting a 1x1 and I go back to a 2x2. So at this point, I don't fight it. I just do it. And this is probably the last finished sock of 2021. I don't know how many socks I knit. I think I knit 2. Yeah, I knit 2 pairs of socks in 2021, but I crocheted, I think I just crocheted 2 as well. Oh, sad. Sad. Anyway, so that's the only gift FO. I have other FOs to share with you, as you can see behind me, but these are not last minute gifts. Well, maybe to myself. Maybe this is a last minute gifting to myself. This is the Fade Crochet Sweater. And if you want to know everything and anything there is to know about this, then I will leave a link down below to the blog post and to the playlist where you can watch me make this from bottom to top. Because it's a bottom up, okay. Sorry, I have a cheesy sense of humor or a dark sense of humor. There's no in between for me. Anyway, so I do have that one, and I also have more finished items to share with you as well. But actually, no, the Ivana crochet sweater can be a last minute gift. It's pretty easy to make, and it's available on the We Crochet official website. I will leave a link down below. I'll put pictures on the screen for you right now because I actually only now remembered that I had finished that. I've been hiding it for a while because We Crochet requested that, you know, I hide it, don't talk about it. They'd be the first to get this pattern out there. And if you can tell by the name, the Ivana crochet vest, it's a nerdy take because, even nerdier, I guess I've read way too much Lord of the Rings fan fiction, and I thought that Ivana was the creator behind the Hobbit race, and she isn't, but she does deal in Mother Nature and everything, so I felt that it was fitting that I attempt to make a vest to fit a cottagecore lifestyle in honor of the hobbits, because who doesn't want to dress like a hobbit at least once in their lives? Don't raise your hands, but I'm raising mine. I would like to have a poofy petticoat, just cutesy, frolicking around, green thumb kind of day. I think this is as green as my day gets. So that is it for FOs. I know I skimmed through 2, but I will very properly introduce the Ivana crochet vest later, or at least give you more details about it later. So for now, I'll just say that it is cropped. You can adjust the length simply by adding more stitches, because just like the Summer Breeze top, or Summer Breeze vest, we crochet vertically, and so our rows denote width, not length. And then we add our straps, and then we build on the back. The paid for pattern comes with pictures, schematics, obviously instructions, as well as a YouTube video link for a tutorial, which you only get access to if you do pay for the pattern. Like I said, it's available on the We Crochet website. I'll leave a link down below if you want to check that out. And if you are not able to purchase the pattern, then it'll be coming to you in the new year free on the blog. I'm trying to kind of play around with how I'm going to move on with my blog and website and business going forward. I think 2022 is going to bring a lot of changes for the business, mostly because it's still in the red, which is scary, honestly, whenever you venture out. Anyway, all that to say that if you would like the Ivana vest, then keep an eye out for my blog, subscribe to my newsletter, where you will be the first, and I do mean first, to know when a pattern has gone live. In other gifting news, now that I gave you some good news, let's give you some bad news and then some more good news so that we kind of end on a high note. So, do you guys remember when I was crocheting my second as if tee for my sister, and I had ripped it all back? And then I cast it on. Well, I had to rip it all back again because somehow I twisted my stitches. So when this was on the needle, it looked like this. And I hadn't realized, because when you're knitting, you just keep going, and you don't actually realize that you have twisted your stitches. So as you can see, I ripped it all back. Once again, I had reached the point where, how can I say this? Where I was about to split for my sleeves so I could do my front and then my back separate. Well, let's just say it ain't happening. I frogged it back. I will cast it on again in 2022 because I do want her to have it. I think she will actually use it and appreciate it. But you know, that does give me more time for next Christmas. So I might be able to do some long sleeves in this situation to help, you know, warmth. Because the as if tee, for those of you not familiar with the pattern, is a crop top inspired by Clueless, the movie Clueless, which interestingly enough is a modern inspiration of Emma from Jane Austen. But geeking aside, it's inspired by this movie, so the top of it is knit with mohair, which it's central for me. I know a lot of people swear by mohair, but it's just not for me. So I found a gloss lace from We Crochet, or Crochet or Knit Picks, and it's alpaca silk, or merino silk. Yeah, so I'm going to be using that lace weight yarn instead of the mohair. I know the effect is completely different because the mohair tends to fill up the gaps, so it does look like a little see-through organza panel, which it won't be the case for the lace weight I'm using. But in any case, it's going to be warm, so I wanted to just crochet the long sleeves instead of the short sleeves that the top brings, because honestly with a mohair yarn, like I said, it's very warm, so just having short sleeves does not mean I'm going to use it in the summer at all. No. So that will be a cast on for 2022. And in other news, if you follow me on Instagram, you will have seen this sweater because it's my secret Christmas make. 2 years ago, my husband asked me to knit him a Subaru sweater. I started probably the end of November after I handed in the Ivana crochet vest. So this is definitely last minute crafting right here, and it's so last minute that we leave tomorrow. Today is Thursday, December 16th. We leave tomorrow for Puerto Rico. Yes, we're going home for Christmas. We're very lucky to be able to do that. It was, I won't even get into the details of how expensive it was, or how much I hate that airlines just skyrocket during the holidays. I think it's very unfair. But that's not the point. The point is that we're talking last minute crafting. And like I said, this is so last minute that it's December 16th. My husband's birthday is tomorrow, December 17th, and this was supposed to be his birthday gift. When I realized it was so close to his birthday, I said his Christmas gift. And today, December 16th, I'm saying it's a Three Kings Day gift. Will I be able to finish it? I don't know. Sorry, it won't even be a Three Kings Day gift. Do you know why? Because we get back the 4th of December at around 10 o'clock at night, and I'm not taking this sweater with me to Puerto Rico because I do not think I'll be crafting on it. And it's huge. It's huge. So, where am I? This is a Subaru sweater that I've crocheted for my husband, or that I am crocheting. And when he asked for it, I was very scared and very skeptical because I'd never designed anything in color work before. And I just really went in guns blazing. I asked my mom to give me a chart from Stitch Fiddle, and she did that for me. And I just, I went from, I went from there. So this sweater is very experimental, and you can tell that I cast it on last minute because I tried to do my increases way too fast in order to be able to get to the logo that you see here. So there is a tiny bit of rippling, but also my tension with color work is very tight. I tend to tighten it up and then I loosen back when it's not color work, so that kind of accentuates the rippling effect. Sometimes I think that when I do color work, I should actually increase my hook size, especially if it's going to be like over a long segment. But I'm also a loose crocheter, so I don't want to increase my hook size. Anyway, I'm doing this sweater in single crochet back loop only. Yes, single crochet back loop only. There's a total of 272 stitches plus 12 added under the underarm, and I have to do about 100 rows, so that is 3,000 stitches in this sweater. It's not done, as you can see, because he did not accept a cropped sweater. So I've worked 3 balls of the blue yarn, and I am using Lion Brand Heartland. This is the color Olympic, and it is a worsted weight yarn, 100% acrylic. The blue, it's not a solid blue, and would you call this a tonal blue? So it's a very royal, like King Tut blue, and then it's got strands of a denim blue yarn running through it, denim blue color, not actual cotton yarn or anything like that. So it kind of forms a little bit of the barbell pool, but it's not as shocking because they're not two contrasting colors. They're the same, they're in the blue family, they're just different tones of blue. So this is Lion Brand Heartland. Like I said, it's 100% acrylic, worsted weight. I'm using a 5mm hook because, as mentioned, I am a loose crocheter, and using the recommended hook size would yield something ginormous. Things that I've done with this sweater. Did I write up what I'm doing? Absolutely not. Because I took this sweater as a kind of a trial, just to see and work on different techniques. The first technique I did was a yoked, circular yoke sweater. I don't tend to gravitate towards circular yokes. If I'm going to do a top-down sweater, I will typically do a raglan, just because I like the fit better. Anyway, so I did that circular yoke, and before I started, I did some short row shapings, because I know that with yoked sweaters, whether they be circular yokes or raglan sweaters, you tend to have kind of the back pulling the front So you need to make the back higher at the neck here, because that's where your neck, like your neck begins here in the front and kind of here in the back. So you need to account for that. So I did some short rows to kind of, and you can see that the back is higher than the front. So I'm very, very happy that I did those short rows. And now I am just doing single crochet back loop only in the round until, I don't know, like I said, until I reached probably 22 inches of the sweater, because then I'm going to do a front post, back post rib, which is my favorite rib. And yeah, nothing much else to tell you about this. Oh, the yellow is not Lion Brand Heartland. I wanted a solid color, so I went with Lion Brand Basic Stitch, which is also 100% acrylic. A lot tougher than the Heartland, but it's not scratchy. It's just, it feels tougher than the Heartland. It's not awful to wear. I quite like it. So yeah, this is my husband's Subaru Rally Racing sweater. And tell me if you have a Subaru or you've seen the logo, does it look like it? I think it does. I'm very happy with it. My husband is very happy with it as well, which is the important part, because when I started the color work, we were kind of unsure. We thought it was going to be way too big, you know, just way too splayed out over everything, because crochet stitches are big. And he chose worsted weight yarn, and the smallest stitch we have other than the single crochet would be slip stitches, and oh, the thought of doing an entire sweater in slip stitches, I won't say no, because I might try it at some point. Slip stitching is considered the original crochet, so yeah, something to be said about that. And I know there's a whole article in a Interweave magazine about slip stitched crochet socks, and they were color work. So there's that. All these ideas floating around in my head. Will they happen? I don't know. But yeah, so overall, I'm very happy. The color work on the inside, that's how it looks. I've kind of worked over my ends, but left little tidbits so I could weave them in back the way they came and make sure they are extra nice and secure. After I finished the body, which was my goal, that before we left to Puerto Rico I would have the body finished. I used my third ball. I completed my third ball, and I did purchase 6. So I'm hoping, I know that this 4th ball will be enough to finish the body and do the rib. And then the sleeves, yeah, I think I have enough yarn. I have 300 grams. So yeah, that should be okay. So that is it for my last minute crafting. Like I said, it's super last minute. Oh, and I haven't shared with you the finished sewn items that I have, which are also very last minute crafting. Those are from my mom, and she watches the podcast. Hopefully she won't have time to watch it when I put it up, so that I can hide it from her. But in case she does watch it, I will take pictures of it after she receives it and share it with you on the podcast, because I think Mom and I were gonna try and record a New Year's podcast together, so that you can see us together for old times' sake, and just, yeah, have some really goals to set and all this. I haven't done a yearly review because, as I said, I wasn't organized enough to actually sit down and review this. And I just really wanted to share with you my last minute gifting, my last minute crafting, which was supposed to be last minute gifts, but that is not a thing. If, however, you do not need to mail your gift, you still have plenty of time to work on it and make it in time for Christmas. And I am going to link down below a oven mitt pattern that I translated. It was a vintage pattern, so I kind of just you know, wrote it in modern crochet terms and did a grading for a size bigger. It only came in one size. So that oven mitt pattern is perfect for using up your cotton yarn stash. It works up really fast. It is easy to Tunisian crochet, and also use up some scrap fabrics because you do a lining for the mitt. So I have that available for you, and I also have a fingering weight hat. It's very last minute crafting friendly, and yeah, I was also supposed to have already finished and sent my nephew a handmade Christmas gift. It's a rug. It's El Cojinteo by Susie Mew. It's a chart, so if you don't speak Spanish, don't worry, it's a chart. The symbols are standard, but it's basically a large double crochet circle, so we increase in the round, and then you work little ears and a little mouth, and then you cut some felt pieces for the eyes and the nose. So it's very simple, very basic, and it uses big hunk of yarn. So potentially works up fast, but as I said, last minute crafting, there is no guarantee that you'll actually be able to complete it. So in terms of my last minute gifts, last minute crafting, that is it. Let me know if you guys have any last minute gifts or last minute craftings that you are working on, and just, you know, being a little Santa's elf and working that Christmas magic into your yarn. Because remember, it is a stitch at a time, and you chose to gift the special people in your life your time. And you're expressing that by growing a piece of fabric stitch by stitch that they will hopefully be able to enjoy for many years to come. So in the end, should we really rush these gifts, or should we just take the time to appreciate them for what they are, thank our hands, thank our eyes, thank our bodies for being able to withstand the crochet pressure and actually allow us to participate in this crafty world where we have so much potential to spread just joy and love, laughter and coziness. And the world does need a whole lot of that. So in terms of the crafty content, that is it for today. Any life updates? Well, like I said, I'm planning some changes, which I hopefully will plan out by the end of December, for how we're going to proceed with the YouTube channel, my content creation, my blogs, my website, all of that. Because change is good. Change is good. It keeps us on our toes, and it keeps us growing and keeps us learning. Also, in terms of what I am reading, actually haven't picked up a proper book ever since I finished the Chai Factor, which I did a review on already. And I do have new books to read and get through. I have some on my Kindle app, but I won't be taking my iPad with me. I'll just be taking my laptop and my external hard drive to do some work, because I do have to do work while I'm home. And I actually had picked up some books because I wanted to get into the altered books rabbit hole, all Crafting Retreat's fault. And one of the books I picked up was this, called Sleeping Tiger. It's from the 60s, from St. Martin's Press. And I started reading it because the summary sounded interesting, but I don't know. I'm hoping to see a lot more main character growth. Yeah. I think the thing is that I'm used to a stronger female lead, because even in the historical romance novels, you have strong females for the most part, depending which author you choose. Yeah. But at least they're opinionated, right? I'm all for that. Anyway, I did start reading this. I'm on page 61, but I haven't committed to it, to be honest. I felt bad for purchasing books that I'm going to rip the pages out without at least giving them a chance of being read and potentially making a person happy for one last time in terms of the written word. So yeah, there's that. So that is it, honestly, for the crafty content. I haven't done any journaling or anything like that. And while I have been working on other projects, I will share those with you either next year or in the podcast that Mom and I do together, if it's later on in December or if it's in the new year. I have pictures I can share. So yeah, thank you guys so much for spending a little bit of crafty time with me today. I hope I was able to at least brighten your day a little bit, and at the very least I hope I was able to keep you company and abate the loneliness if you were feeling lonely. So if it's you're watching this at night or during the day, I hope you have a lovely day or a great evening, and thank you so much for all your support during all the time that the podcast has been going on, and especially during the last year where I ventured into full-time content creation. It's been uphill sometimes, mostly because you're your own worst enemy. But I want to thank you for taking the time to always leave a comment down below, let me know how you're doing, let me know what you're making, and for offering your support. So thank you so much for that. If you celebrate Christmas, I hope you have a very Merry Christmas. And if you don't, then I hope you have a lovely Yuletide or just a lovely winter where you get to cozy in, light candles, and eat lots of homemade goodies. Bye!
Deck the halls with boughs of holly. 'Tis the season to be jolly.